Okay, hello everyone. We are back. So there must be some little network issue for which we got dropped off. And we were having a very amazing guest with us today, which is Mrs. Amrita Ashish Singh. So let me catch her back and start our wonderful conversation going on.
I don't know what just happened. I was so much in
Yeah,
the flow and just got disconnected.
got dropped. Even both of us got dropped. Okay,
Yes.
so I'll give a quick introduction again. Maybe I'll try to give it with the same enthusiasm.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Mrs. Amrita Ashish Singh. She's a HR turned healer, and she's actually a healer by heart. And she's a mountaineer. She loves to explore new destinations, explore new food, and completely obsessed with the cleanliness. You can actually find all of her things around her would be extra clean and to be in place. So yes, she actually puts
Okay.
everything in place, humans or the things. So that's Amrita. So over to you. Who actually Amrita is?
Okay, so as I was sharing earlier, I just love keep evolving and learning. And right now I can say the phase that I am in my life, I am somebody who loves to read, who loves her family, and who loves her work a lot. Don't give me food, chalega, but I just cannot live without talking to my clients. So yeah, I am somebody who really wants to heal every single wounded soul she comes across. So yeah, I am somebody these days. I'm somebody who is a home baby who really loves to be at her home and minding her own business.
That's actually cool. And
Yeah.
it's quite a tough job, I believe.
No, it's
Okay.
quite easy if you have that kind of clarity. I think over the years or over some time, you just make peace with it.
So how to get that clarity, Amrita? How easy to get that clarity?
By I think clarity always comes with engagement. Okay, so if you really want clarity in your life, keep engaging with your thoughts, keep engaging with your own. I would say keep fighting your own um, questions, whatever, don't let it pass. Like if something is bothering you, don't suppress it with food, people, parties, sit with it. And the moment, I always say to my clients, healing comes with feeling. So
Wow.
if you really want to heal, you really have to feel. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling confused, you have to sit with it. You just can't run away from your feelings. You can run away from your feelings, but you will never reach home. The quest will continue. So if you really want that clarity, first engage with your thoughts, sit with your feelings, and you will definitely get clarity if you will do these two basic things.
Cool. So coming back to when you say you are completely engaged with your clients and you love what you do. So our audience and especially me and all of the people around, we actually want to know what do you do? And I think
Okay.
it's a very pretty common question around the people like
What
you are associated with.
Okay. So what I do in a very simple line, I help people reach home to themselves. So
Wow.
that's what I do. But in this particular thing, I help them with certain tools. There are certain modalities that I keep on learning, that I keep on adding. But this is my main vision or main agenda to help them reach home to themselves. Because these days I see so many people, they attach their happiness to something outside of them,
Right.
and that is the main source of, I would say, sorrow in their life, the main source of pain in their life, because they are looking for example, I would just take my example. Okay, I'm a healer. I'm something that nobody understands. I do something that not a normal people will understand. The
Right.
movement I made peace with it, that
Hmm.
whatever I am doing, It should
Mhm.
make sense to me and my clients.
Right.
The moment I made peace with this thing, the kind of peace I got, the kind of that coming back home to yourself, the feeling that I got, that's
Mhm.
amazing. So I help people reach home to themselves, and the modalities or tools that I use right now is inner child healing and emotional freedom tapping. I have also recently completed my certification, life coach certification. So now once they are healed, they always start asking me, what next? You have healed our past.
Right.
Okay. So now what next? So now I have become a life coach also, where I can tell them what you can do next. So in a very simple term, earlier I used to help people heal their past so that they can have a sorted or healed present.
Right.
Okay. Now I help them by healing their past to have a beautiful future. So I help them design their future as well with certain with certain modalities that comes under life coaching.
Wow.
So my
That's.
work is a mix of counseling, therapy, and mentoring.
Mhm.
So it's a
That's I
mix of these three.
would want in life. It's like a complete
Exactly.
you're providing.
Exactly. So once when I started 3 years back, I started finding some loopholes in my work. Okay. Once the clients like they used to get healed, they will be like, what next? And even I was confused, what next? So over the years, I started adding more tools, more modalities to my bucket. And in next few months, I'm also going to learn NLP also, because the learning never ends. If you're on this path, if you're a healer or coach or any, I think any
Any field.
business, if you really want to grow, you just have
Mhm.
to keep on learning, keep on learning, keep on learning. The investment never ends. But I would
Right.
say, if it feeds your soul, the investment is worth. you
The
just
purpose
you can
first.
just move forward. It come back. Whatever you invest, it definitely come back. Your time, money, energy, everything comes back in multiply. So yeah, just be focused and keep doing.
Great. So, the words that you have used, I'll try to have all the questions that generally people have, and they are actually looking for the answers, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
therapy is again one of the things which is considered taboo all over across, right? So, why do you
Hmm.
think it's a taboo, or is it
Okay,
really a
because
taboo? Is it really a
okay,
taboo?
I tell you, yes, it's really a taboo. That's true. That is for sure. Even today, 95% of the people will not talk openly about mental health issues.
Right.
So 95%, people, it's a huge number. People will not talk about mental health issues. And it's a taboo because it's not very generic. We don't talk about it in our homes. It's a taboo. You will see parents talking about very awkward things in front of their children. Okay, but they never, things that a child should not listen. But when it comes to mental health, they are like, oh my God, don't talk about it. सुबह
Right.
जल्दी उठना शुरू करो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. But it's not. हाँ, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. I come across many people. They are like, there was a time in our life we used to wake up very early. But Amrita, अब bed छोड़ने का मन ही नहीं करता. So that is a mental health issue. They are dealing with something in their life. Okay, so it's a taboo because nobody talks about it. Nobody makes it a very, I would say, people are not open to such topics. And
Mhm.
what I feel after being into this industry, because people are not open, because deep inside they know what damage they have done to their children, or what damage they have done to people. That is why they are not okay to talk about it.
Right.
Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
I
For
am.
example, they know what mental torture, what mental harassment they have done to people. So that is why they are um, not ready to accept it and talk about it. And पता है उनकी भी गलती नहीं है, because it's a generational thing जो आप carry forward कर रहे हो अपने साथ. Because their parents used to, in the name of discipline, used to be very controlling. Okay,
Right.
for example, if somebody comes to me and they say my parents are very controlling, earlier the same thing our parents would say, our parents are very disciplined.
डिसिप्लिन, और हमारे बच्चे
Are you
हमारी बात.
getting disciplined, so how they used to, I would say, manipulate the situation with the words. But nowadays, the I would say, people have become more aware with the right terminology. So it's changing very slow, but it's changing.
सो लाइक यू मेंशन कि हम पहले जल्दी उठ जाते थे बट अब बेड से निकलने का मन नहीं करता. बट दिस समटाइम्स जनरली हैपेंस कि आज मन कैसा है, लाइक आज करने का मन नहीं है, खाने का मन नहीं है, एंड पीपल टेक इट यूजुअली ओके, like the good days
Hmm.
and the bad days, right? So how
Hmm.
someone would know what are the symptoms? So everything have some symptoms. तो कैसे
Hmm.
सिम्टम्स होते हैं व्हेन समवन वुड थिंक कि शायद मुझे थेरेपी चाहिए और आई शुड कंसीडर कंसल्टिंग अ हीलर और अ थेरेपिस्ट? सो व्हाट आर द सिम्टम्स?
Hmm. First, and the very common is if it's there for a very prolonged period of time. If you're not feeling okay, if you're not feeling leaving your bed for 1 hour, for 1 day, 2 day, or even a week, or even a month, that's okay. But if it's continuing for years, then it's not okay. Even for a month, I say, even for three, or even for a quarter, for 3 months, I say it's okay, because at times your body demands that much of rest.
राइट.
Okay. So first we have to normalize rest also. We don't do that. We really have to normalize doing nothing.
राइट.
Okay. But if it's the symptom is, if it's like very prolonged for months, for years, because I have clients, I have seen people who are sitting in that mental trauma for like ages, like 5 years, 10 years. Then I say, you should have gone therapy at least 4, 5 years back. So yeah, if the time period, if the timeline is very long, then you should definitely. And second, if you see yourself stuck in a loop of thoughts
ओके.
for long period of time, again, everyone overthinks. I tell you, every single person overthinks. But if you are stuck in that particular loop, then
राइट.
there is a problem. Everyone overthinks. It's a myth that men don't overthink. Even they overthink, because that's how our logical mind functions.
राइट.
Okay, we always think of the pros and cons of certain things. Okay, but it's the overthinking is again continuing for so many months or
राइट.
years, and that it has become part of your identity. Then you really have to look into it. If
बट
somebody knows you, like, oh, Amrita, oh, she's such an overthinker. If it has become your identity, then you really have to look into it.
But sometimes means like when it becomes the identity, then people don't
Hmm.
think it's a problem. Like मैं तो ओवरथिंक करती ही हूँ, और
Hmm.
maybe in such situations I respond like I act like this, तो उनको लगता है ये
Hmm.
normal.
Hmm.
So
So
how
it's
to
a resistance to change. It's a
okay.
resistance to change. It's a resistance to grow, because deep inside they are not okay with it.
हाँ.
I tell you, uh, I haven't seen any overthinker being okay with their overthinking. So why I'm able to relate it, because I recently worked with a very similar client. She was like, Amrita, I'm such an overthinker. If my husband is on a phone, I will think, "Ki kisse baat kar raha hai?" Even though he's so loyal to me, but still my mind will keep on thinking. And I say, behind every overthinker is some wound, unhealed wound. That is the reason someone overthinks. That means that person is overprotective,
Hmm.
or that person, ही इज अफ्रेड ऑफ डेंजर. उसको किसी प्रॉब्लम में नहीं पड़ना है. दैट इज द रीजन. तो हमें उस चीज को, आप समझ रहे हो, हमें उस चीज को हील करना है, ना कि उसकी ओवर थिंकिंग को हील करना है. सो द
Wow.
मोमेंट वी हील द रूट कॉज, द मोमेंट वी heal the root cause, the person will become a normal human being. And they become so expert in handling their emotions. They're overthinking, they know, okay, you're again, you know uh, अपने ही लूप में फंस रहे हो, just come back, it's okay, give it some time. And I
Right.
give you one more scientifically logic. If anything wrong happens to you, like if anything wrong happens to you, or if you have to take any decision, it
Right.
takes 72 hours 72 hours for your mind to actually come out of that loop. 3
Okay.
days. So if anything happens, give yourself at least 3 days. 3 days, though, like, just be alone, come back to yourself, be in that cave. Ki, okay, I'm
Mhm.
healing, I'm processing. People don't process their emotions.
Right.
So if you will process any emotion, be it overthinking, hurt, anger, if you will process it, and
Mhm.
then if you will explain it, the solution will come.
So I am not aware like I'm right or not. I was reading this somewhere, like in the like earlier times when someone used to die in a home. So why
Hmm.
they were not cooking, and also I was reading the science behind it. So they
Hmm.
were trying to create an aura like someone has gone from your home, like again the 3 days to 7 days of the mourning period,
Hmm.
where they
Hmm.
actually make the person cry intentionally so that maybe they can
Yes.
stop that yes, someone is gone. Maybe.
Hmm.
Is it
Hmm.
connected?
Hmm. Yes, obviously. Whatever you said, it totally makes sense. Okay, so grief is not a loss, like is not only grief due to death.
Okay.
Okay, grief can be a loss of relationship, maybe a friendship, or or I would say a pet, or
Okay.
it's not like the friendship has gone, any relationship you have, so you were in a very deep relationship and suddenly you guys just broke up. So even
Mhm.
then, give your time to process those emotions. It can be with careers also. You were doing a job, you just leave that job because the environment was toxic. So basically, you are sitting in grief. So
Mhm.
process your grief, you know, let it come out, whatever. Like that is why everyone says, take a break. You have just
Right.
resigned from a job, take a break. So I think we should normalize taking breaks.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And even like these days, there are so many diseases coming up where they say PCOS is quite common, and they say it's related to the overthinking thing, right? And not only PCOD, it comes with the thyroid and all other health issues, like physical body issues. So how well they are connected with the mental health thing?
There are 100%. There are many studies, anyone can go and do the research. All the
Mhm.
hormonal issues, thyroid, migraine also. It's not a hormonal issue, but still migraine is a result of overthinking actually. A person who is so much into thinking of all the pros and cons, they tend to have migraine, or anyone who suppresses their emotions tend to have migraine. Okay, PCOS is a result of PCS is actually deeply PCOS and thyroid is deeply connected to not being in complete acceptance of your truth.
Right.
Okay, it comes when you have your wounded childhood. Wounded childhood means you were not accepted as a child. So that
Mm-hmm.
feeling of insignificant, the feeling of unimportant is buried inside of your body. These emotions are buried in your body, so they will definitely show up in some or the other form. So they
Right.
end up showing up in the form of thyroid or PCOS. So I
They
haven't done that level of therapies, but there are many my colleagues who have done EFT level 3 or 5, 3 and 5, in which they specifically work with migraine patients. We don't call it them patients actually. PCOS thyroid clients, and
right.
they have found out that these all are your emotional things that you haven't suppressed or accepted, and that is why they have come up in a form of disease.
That's pretty interesting. And so
Yes.
so we generally say कि ये काम नहीं बन रहा है तो उल्टा करके देख लो, like the reverse engineering we say in our language. So do you think working on the mental health can actually help someone improve their physical health also?
That's such a wonderful question, I would say, and it's pretty much the truth. Okay.
Mhm.
So I recently worked with I'm so happy. I recently worked with a person. Actually, I'm so overwhelmed while sharing it. So she's a she's a judge. She's been a judge in a MasterChef program. So she's such a, like, she's a celebrity chef. So when I met her accidentally in Dharamshala, I realized, the girl I used to see on social media, she was so bulky, so healthy. She was 70, she was in her 70s or 75 kgs of weight. And right now she's 51, 52 kgs. And when I talked to her, when we shared our stories, so I just came to know, over the period, she lost her weight by just working on her mental health. So she was going through some prolonged, I would say, trauma in her life. Her childhood was not sorted. So
Mhm.
she, actually she was carrying more of the emotional weight and very less of the physical weight.
Right.
Okay. So she said, I am into my healing from past 7 years, and my healing has literally transformed me. So it takes, healing is a long process, it takes
Yeah, I was
time,
talking
but
7 years.
yes, so hats off to her commitment. For 7 years she was just addressing her emotions basically. If
Mhm.
she is feeling that, she would address her emotions, she would not suppress her emotions. So, and we have, honestly, we have worked like on couple of sessions only, because it was like, she told me hathi nikal gaya, bas pooch reh gayi hai. There is something that
Oh,
nobody is understanding. There is something, Amrita, in my life that no healer, no therapist is able to understand. And the moment we started talking, we realized, um,
got the click.
the click, and also actually we both were mirror to each other.
Oh,
So there was a part of her life that, usko heal ही मेरे through होना. So that's a beautiful connection that we form in healing. So the moment I just helped her with 2 or 3 sessions only on working on her self acceptance when she was in her mother's womb. Okay, so she was carrying some emotions when she was in her mother wombs, and somehow our stories are very similar. So somehow we just got connected, and she was like, "Okay, my work is done. Thank you so much." So I have seen people growing, evolving when they start to heal themselves. अब
wow.
I can honestly say, आप जितना मर्जी जिम कर लो, आप जितना मर्जी डाइट कर लो, अगर आपको, if you really want that weight, कि वो weight वापस ना आए, है ना, you really have to address your emotional issues. But I
I
tell you, ये ना जिम से भी ज्यादा मुश्किल काम है, to be very honest.
really vouch for whatever you have said right now. And undoubtedly, when I worked on some of the things which I was carrying in my head, and it's not somebody is imposing on you, it's like you take it yourself. Nobody's
Take it,
responsible for it.
yes. No,
And when I
yes.
worked on it, yes, it helped me to get a little back in shape. And people call it stress, but yes, you see what's happening with you when you see yourself. So I completely vouch
Exactly.
for whatever you have said. It's true, guys. Whatever she's saying, it's actually true.
And I actually want to add one more thing, because I really want to help the audience. It's like, the moment you start to forgive people, you start to shed weight. That's a tip that I'm giving.
Oh,
If you start giving people uh, to whom you were blaming in your life, start to forgive people, and you will start to see your physiology will start to change.
right.
So basically, your skin your skin starts to improve. Your skin become more clearer because you're not holding on to anything. So the
Actually.
acne is also a result of suppressing emotions.
Oh, that's even sometimes it's interesting and it's complex also.
But I always say, working on physical health is easy. Working on your mental health is really, really, really
Tough,
difficult.
very tough. It's the
Because
toughest
it
job.
takes courage, because you have to face your own demons. You have to face yourself every single day.
Mhm.
But it's worth the effort, I would say. It's worth the effort, it's worth the energy, and it's worth the time.
Great. There's one more thing, Amrita, that I want to talk about. Like you said, someone needs to understand when they're angry, when they're anxious, and all right. But these days, I feel there is such a disconnect amongst the people with their own level of feelings. मतलब उन्हें ही नहीं समझ आता कि वो खुश है, वो उदास है, मतलब कुछ अजीब सा हो रहा है. They just know that कुछ अजीब सा हो रहा है, but वो क्या है? Generally, majority is not aware. So there's a complete level of disconnect with the body, with the emotions, or we are like so much engrossed in our own lives, we don't know what's happening around. So again, how to come out of this first and then become aware कि अच्छा ये problem है. So is there any way?
Okay. Okay. So disconnect is basically in therapy, we called it numbness. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you become so numb. Okay. So it's a result of, again, being entangled with so many energies around you. Okay. If you are not minding your own business and you're entangled in so many energies, a time will come that you will be so confused. Oh my God. So I just will give a very small background, then I will give the solution. So we all have some field around us, जिसे हम aura भी कहते हैं. Okay.
Right.
So like that, everyone is carrying an aura. Okay. Some people are sitting at some higher level. कहते हैं ना, कुछ कुछ लोगों को मिलके बस कुछ अच्छा सा लगता है. I don't know कि क्या है, but बस अच्छा सा लगता है. Because they're carrying a very high aura. Their energy is high level. Energy levels are so high. But these days, most people are not carrying good energies around them, because there's so much of social media comparison, judgments, jealousy, and this constant, कुछ मजा नहीं आया, वो मजा ढूंढने के चक्कर में, people keep on hopping from one thing to other, one relationship to other, one job to other, one food to other, वो hopping सबसे पहले बंद करनी पड़ेगी.
चलो ये
सबसे पहले
time
वो चीज. यस. तो मुझे लगता है इस चीज का एक ही सॉल्यूशन है, कम बैक टू योर सेल्फ. कम बैक टू योर सेल्फ का मतलब है कि जस्ट बी सो एक्टिव, सो अवेयर कि आप किसके साथ है ना, विद whom you are spending your energy. So these days it's easy to earn money, but it's very difficult to maintain your energy. Okay, it's very difficult to just maintain your energy. So इसका एक ही solution है, start meditating, start spending some more time with your own self. Meditation का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप मतलब that typical eyes closed go and meditate. Meditation means do anything that makes you forget time. It can be cooking for someone, it can be cleaning for someone, anything that shuts you off from other people. Okay. Second, learn to delete people from your life. So we have three kind of people: inspiring people, expiring people, and inspire. There are people who inspire us, expire us, and neutral. बस पड़े हैं life में, है तो है types. So you really have to keep deleting those expiry people from your life. आपको actual में delete नहीं कर देना है, but from your mind just delete them.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
And
so
I think learn to set boundaries.
pretty
So
hard.
these are basic tools. Honestly, Karta, these all things are really hard, but not impossible. It takes time to build. It's
Hmm.
actually, again, it's a muscle that you have to build. Like consistency is a muscle, commitment is a muscle. Same way, setting boundaries, again, a muscle. It's hard, but it's not impossible. It takes some years, to be very transparent. Yes, it takes few years in the beginning, like 1 or 2 years, but then you will become pro in it, because it demands high level of awareness.
Great. So, like even you have already worked also with a lot of women, and somehow I can see that you actually have the aim to help women and empower them and help them heal as well. So, what are the different stages you feel a woman comes across, especially guilt? Guilt is something that's generally connected with women, और मे बी सम अदर इमोशन दैट आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ. तो ऐसे कौन कौन से स्टेजेस हैं जो हमें इम्पैक्ट करते हैं? लाइक यू मेंशन्ड कि शी वाज हैविंग सम ट्रॉमा व्हेन शी वाज इन द वूम्ब. सो व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट
Mm.
स्टेज are which are very significant in this case?
Okay. Okay. So firstly, I would like to clarify, I work both with men and women.
Okay.
But I would say women have some, they are like, they have this liberty. They are very easy to, like, they are easy to share. They are easy to talk about their wounds. So I have worked with some men, and I really want to say men really need help.
Right.
It takes courage for them. It really takes some courage, strength for men to ask for help. But yes, 90% of my clients are like females and 10% are males. But I do work with both. So yes, uh, more are of females. Okay. So second thing that you asked, what are the stages? I think you are asking what all can impact somebody.
Yes.
What all impact. So okay. So I call it trauma. Trauma is not something that happens to you and leaves you with some drastic pain. Okay?
Okay.
Trauma is every single thing that leaves you in a state of overwhelm. So
Okay.
anything that leaves you in a state of overwhelm is trauma for you.
Mhm.
Like, I have clients जो कहते हैं कि our parents were so amazing. We never had any childhood issues. They literally come on the clarity call and they're like, "Bhai, sorted hai sab kuch," but still we have this anxiety, this fear. Okay, so I will talk about few most common aspects that people deal with. Okay, in women, yes, it's guilt of taking care of themselves.
Right.
Okay, so unke liye I would really like our to help our audience. So I will give a solution also. So guilt solution is always compensate. If you're feeling guilty about something, compensate it. That's it. Okay, it's good to compensate rather than holding on to it and then forming resentment.
Right.
Okay, you are doing something you don't want to do, then you become angry. So it's better don't do it, be guilty about it, and then compensate it. Very simple.
Means I
Very simple,
heart
compensate
here,
it.
but you a complete heart here
Hmm.
because I can feel it what you're saying. Yes.
Yes. So the next feeling that I see very prominent is comparison of their bodies, of their work, of the kind of life they have. It can be with their partners. Maybe they are blessed with best of the partners, but still उसका घुमाता है मेरा घुमाता नहीं है भाई उसका सिर्फ घुमाता ही है समझ रहे हो so so
Yes.
it's very hard for people to understand that comparison is again a root cause of any sorrow in your life. Comparison, guilt, um if you're not able to forgive people, if you're blaming people, blame is again something that you're inviting some disease or some problem in your body.
Hmm.
So blame is again, I see very common in people these days, like blaming their parents for their situation, blaming their bosses for their situations, blaming their in-laws for their situation, blaming weather for their situation, blaming their maid for their work. Everything comes down to blame. So the less you blame, the more, you know, I know blame is something, it's very difficult. Even I have to work on it a lot, but still blame is one of the other aspects also. Okay, so other thing comes a constant need of, doing something new. People these days, I see it's very difficult for people to do something for a long period of time.
Right.
So build your consistency muscle. Learn to stick to one thing. This
Mhm.
feverishness of shifting to people, to relationships, to jobs is actually you're inviting more problem in your life. Lack of commitment is again one of the issues that people face these days. So actually they are not any medical terminologies in therapy. It's like you will understand what kind of terminologies we use under counseling and therapy. It comes down to very very basic things. Actually, it's not key. And also I'm not a psychologist. I'm a healer. So there is a difference between a psychologist and a healer. So psychologist क्या करेगा आपकी बीमारी को जैसे एक नाम दे देगा. For example, you are dealing a narcissist in your life. I don't believe in doing that. Don't label anyone anything. So I don't believe in labeling anyone's issue. I totally don't believe in labeling your issues. I always tell you, okay, this is, I see their problem from a very third eye perspective. I don't believe in labeling it because then you start to live with that label. That I have bipolar disorder, I am a narcissist, and उनको पता भी नहीं होगा उसका मतलब क्या है. So it's best never label your emotions. Deal with it, feel it, and heal it. Wow, deal, feel, heal. Wow.
That's great. So here we talk like how you give therapy to people and how you are healing them. So what is your therapy? Like, how do you do the self love and like, what's therapy for you? Like, someone says cooking is a therapy for me, or going for a walk is a therapy of me. So, what actually is
My
like,
work is therapy for me. My
sorry?
work is my therapy. My work is my therapy. If I'm
Great.
not feeling well, the moment I connect to my clients, the moment I start talking to my clients, I start to feel healed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a time when I took a break on like on during Diwali, and I became so cranky, and my husband told, go back to your work, please resume your work, because then you are very happy, you're a very happy soul. And then I realized that, my therapy is my work is my therapy.
Makes
And
sense.
also, very lame answer, Canva is my therapy. I love designing. I really, really, really love to design. So I really love to experiment. I really like to put my thoughts on Canva. So that is again therapy for me. I can do it for hours.
Ah,
When
nice.
it comes to educate my audience, in
Share
that
your
aspect, thoughts through
yeah,
Canva, through
yeah.
colorful ways. Yeah, I really like it.
Okay, great. So can I have your 10 minutes more, although we are already up the time?
Okay, okay.
Okay, let's burst some myths. What are the
Hmm.
two myths that's associated with your profession, which is like therapy and healing? Can you mention any two myths which are there in the society and actually they don't exist?
Okay. So I will only share those that I come across with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First is therapy is just like talking to your friend.
Mm-hmm.
No, therapy is not just like talking to your friend. Not at all. Because your friend is not in that space to give you any kind of support.
Right.
They can listen you, and even you might lose a friend, if you will make your friend your therapist. So there's a difference between a friend and a therapist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because first, therapists are trained in a manner to hold space for you so that you can become vulnerable. Because your therapist will never judge you. We will never do harm, because we know where they are coming from.
Right.
We
Right.
know, like they are like many clients tell me, आप ऐसा सोच रहे होगे ना कि कितनी बेवकूफ है, मैं उनको कहती हूँ no I don't. मैं ये सोच रही हूँ कि wow, she has encountered it now, like आगे की लाइफ बहुत अच्छी होने वाली
There's
है,
no.
because you are done with the shit.
Hmm.
So there are no judgments in therapy, and therapists hold space for you. A friend can never hold a space for you. Second myth around therapy is ये तो पागलों का काम है. No, it's a serious job. It's really a serious job.
Hmm.
It's like any other profession. It should, even though in India it has not given that much of recognition. Like the West gives therapy like it's very casual. I am going to therapy, but in India it's not very. We can't say I went to a therapist. Even though the Gen Z generation is becoming so familiar with these words,
Right.
they are open to it. My brother's friend, they go to therapy and they talk about it. So my
Yeah.
brother keeps sharing with one of my friend went to therapy and his therapist told her this, and I was so happy that at such a young age they're so open about therapy. So the myth is actually it's a serious issue. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये it's not small thing, it's a huge thing. And the best therapy is the best gift you can give to anyone, because from a healed person comes a healed generation. From a wounded person comes a wounded generation. So from a healed soul comes a healed generation. So yeah, it's a serious job. Yeah.
Completely agree. Completely agree with that. So I completely believe we can give what we have. So if we have the wounds, we can give the wounds only. And if we are blossoming, we'll give the flowers back.
And
Great.
therapy, actually, I really wonder, it's like, it's like any other profession. It demands so much of investment from you. Learning these therapies, learning these modalities is not, it's such a big hole in your pocket. But we do that, because we really want to heal people. We really want to help people. It's not a hobby or, a side job, a side hustle that anybody does. It's a serious profession. If we are doing it from our bedrooms, if we are doing it from a small cabin, it doesn't mean it doesn't hold any, authority. It holds authority. Like any other profession, that they like this profession should have that equal respect in the, I would say, in the society.
It should be.
बिकॉज हम
Otherwise,
भी उतना टाइम लगा रहे हैं, हम भी उतना पैसा लगा रहे हैं, हम भी वो उतना ही कर रहे हैं जितना एक नॉर्मल प्रोफेशन में कोई इन्वेस्ट करता है.
and parallelly, it's the expert advice. Although, like in India, everyone tries to be the counselor. Like, everyone around you would give their piece of advice and opinion ki ye kar lo, ye kar lo, ye kar lo. But how it would work with me is different. I have my own set of experiences. Of course, my medicine would be different. So it won't
And
work.
also when when you receive generic advices, you will have generic results. If you will receive specific advice, you will have specific results in your life. That is why a therapist or healer or counselor is able to give you that aha, that breakthrough moment, that shift when you
Right.
evolve. Why don't we evolve while talking to a friend? Because they are coming from their own space and they have their own limitations. Why I am not saying कि we are somebody, हमें सब अच्छे से पता है. It's the only difference is we are dealing with the actual people. Like अगर मैं दिन में 10 बार किसी, मतलब if I am talking to 10 clients a day, so I am listening to 10 different experiences, to 10 different perspectives. So
Right.
it helps you give a very third eye perspective to your clients. And also in therapy, like again, I want to burst one myth: we never give any advice. We don't give any advices कि ऐसा कर लो, वैसा कर लो.
Mm.
We help you come to a situation, where the client will ask
Fine.
कि I think मुझे ऐसा करना चाहिए. They find the solution themselves. So that is the biggest difference between a therapist and a friend, again, or any other counselor.
Right.
Counselors will give you advice, but we never give any advices.
That's actually really wonderful, even to experience. Yes.
That is why therapy is expensive, and that is why it takes more sessions. Because
Yeah.
it's easy ना, एक इंसान बोल सकता है कि कि मैं मीठा बहुत खाता हूँ, मैं बोल दूंगी चीनी खानी छोड़ दो, नहीं. But we really have to figure out कि what is the reason that person craves more sugar. What are the stories behind it? And then उसको heal करने में, पहले root cause को find करने में, फिर उस root cause को निकालने में, it takes time. That is why it's a long process.
Completely agree. Completely agree. So let's come to a little fun part and we'll do some fun rapid fire now. Now you have to give me one word or a quick small sentence for whatever word I'm going to give you. Right?
Okay.
So let's start it, our amazing fun rapid round with none other than Mrs. Amrita Singh. Yeah, I'm practicing it.
Okay.
What's happiness for you?
जो भी नाम जो आंसर है वो मैं दे नहीं सकती, बट फैमिली.
Food.
अंडर फैमिली देयर इज वन पर्टिकुलर पर्सन, सो दैट इज हैप्पीनेस फॉर मी.
अब सोचते रहो वो कौन है.
हाँ.
Great. Food.
खिचड़ी. You know that.
But you still with it? Overwhelmed. Okay,
Yes,
great.
I'm still with it.
Nature.
Mesmerizing. Or blessed.
Like, oh wow. Therapy.
Life.
Women.
Needs to be healed.
Chai.
High, high time.
Chai.
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 Must in winters.
Early bird or owls?
Learning to be an early bird.
Okay, but I know you can't like stay late. Like you need to sleep on time. Cool.
Things change. We change.
Change is the only part.
Hmm.
Yes. So how do you take feminism?
very abused term these days, or misused terms these days,
Agree.
you know.
Agree. Okay, so coming towards the end, although I have lots and lots of questions to ask, but still, any last message from this session that you want to give to the viewers?
I just want to say, take therapy normal, please. Normalize talking about your emotions,
Mhm.
normalize getting angry, normalize getting hurt, and then but work on it. Okay? Please work on it. Don't label yourself as an angry person or a hurt person or an overthinker. Please don't label yourself as anyone, you know. For example, if I'm Amrita, I'm Amrita. Your identity should be Amrita, not an overthinker or a pressure cooker. No, please come out of those labels and work on your labels. And it's possible to heal. Choose healing, I would say.
Choose healing.
It's a choice that we make. If like my viewers or anyone who are not going for therapy, they are again making a choice. So it's always a choice.
Right, agree.
Going or not going is always a choice.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Amrita. I am so thankful to you for coming up today. And I really want to tell everyone here that so I have been seeing you since my childhood. So we are
Yes.
of age. It's not like मैं बचपन से इनको देख रही हूँ. So I'm really seeing you since my childhood, and you have always been that inspiration for me in some way or the other, and loved having you around always, always, and always. And not only this, I would definitely tell everyone that apart from this, today also she was actually the inspiration for me to come up when I was like, "Ki, maybe I'm having a little discomfort, so let's maybe postpone the session." And there I got a voice note ki, "Hey Qatar, I'm having little spondylitis pain, so can we please uh, keep it short?" And I'm like, "Ki, she's not canceling it, how can you get up?" So
Hmm.
yes, you actually gave me that push, that get up and do something which you are actually in love with. Apart from this, coming back to her services, I have already availed them, and I completely vouch whatever she's doing, right from her therapies which helped me to come over my physical issues, my physical health. Apart from the mental health also, she has actually helped me to be aware of them and then overcome them as well. So they actually work wonder. So check her out on her page, Healing Hearts with Amrita. She's doing some amazing work, and always available to speak her heart out, share all that she knows, and rest, she's the better person to guide. So definitely check Healing Hearts with Amrita and follow her for more updates. Thanks a lot, Amrita, for
Thank you
giving.
so much, Katya, for having me. And you really had some amazing questions, I would say.
I
Good questions. You asked me good questions. So, yeah, I'm really impressed by the quality of questions. So, yeah, very good.
My pleasure.
But thank you so much for having me and making it so normal for people to talk about these things. So, it's high time we talk about it. You know, it's high time that we make it very normalized. We normalize talking about your mental health. Yeah, we normalize healing with normalize therapy. So because a happy home comes from a happy woman and a healed home comes from a healed woman, so it's high time.
Great.
That's it.
So, as we really believe in, let's grow together and let's grow together. So, good night. Have a
Yes.
happy weekend,
Good night.
everyone. Enjoy your own time, and of course, your time with your family. Enjoy your own space. Keep enjoying. See you soon with
Yes.
another round of Psychotalks 2.0, and we'll be back again. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.